gentlemen, welcome to my Wrestler of the Decade video. We have done the best feud of the decade and the best match of the decade, but now we are having the best wrestler of the decade. So there's been some stuff that has been repeated through the previous ones, and you're going to see that again, usually over the 2011 to 2014 time period. But we're going to jump into it now. There's 3 wrestlers on this list who are actually double years. They've expanded Wrestler of the Year, in my opinion, for both of those years. So we're going to jump into it. So here are the 7 nominees for Wrestler of the Decade. For 2010 is Big Match John. He was the established star. He was the big star. He was the face of the company. He was Hulk Hogan. He buried everyone, including the Nexus. Don't know if that's a good thing or not. Let's just move on to that. Then we have the 2011-2012 Wrestler of the Year, CM Punk. CM Punk came in, dropped his pipe bomb, and took over WWE and changed what WWE could be. It re-established it, brought back some lapsed fans, and completely changed WWE as we know it. Then we have 2013-2014, Daniel Bryan, one of the greatest technical wrestlers in wrestling history, if not the greatest technical wrestler in wrestling history, and one of the most likable people. One of the most lovable, likable people in WWE history. Then 2015, we have Seth Rollins, Money in the Bank winner, and the new man of the company. In that time, he was a sniveling heel, and he completely carried the company on his back to his own detriment, where he ended up injuring himself because he was pushing himself too hard. But Seth Rollins, 2015 Wrestler of the Year. Then we have the 2016-2017 Wrestler of the Year, AJ Styles, making a massive star for himself in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Coming to WWE, a lot of people knew him from TNA, from New Japan, but no one really expected him to blow up the way he did. I believe I'm not 100% sure on this stat, but I believe he has held the title for over half his run in WWE. He's held the United States or the WWE Championship. Well, he's always held them for the majority of his run. He has been a champion. He has been a top star. He's been pushed to be he was the face of SmackDown for a long time. It was the house that AJ Styles built. And he is phenomenal. And then in 2018, we have the man, Becky Lynch, pushing women's wrestling to a new level. I mean, you could argue that Charlotte could be in this spot too. I like both of them very much. I'm barely narrowing it out for Becky because she's the more fan favorite. She broke through more, and the man slogan has become a massive thing. She's become a massive phenomenon. She is the female Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's big shoes to fill, and she fills them tremendously. She is incredible. 2018 Wrestler of the Year, Becky Lynch. She could have been 2019, but let's be fair, the 2019 Wrestler of the Year is Bray Wyatt, The Fiend. He has completely come into his own ever since WrestleMania last year. He's become his own thing with the Firefly Funhouse being the most entertaining segments in every single wrestling show, and The Fiend being terrifying. They kind of ruined it with the red light and the Hell in a Cell match with Seth Rollins, but apart from that, this guy is tremendous, and he's finally getting what he deserves, because I feel like Bray Wyatt has been a tremendous wrestler for years, and this is the first time he's really getting a proper push. Even though he was WWE Champion before, he's now an established Universal Champion with... He's to be feared. So those are the 7 nominees for Wrestler of the Decade, and now we're going to go in the top 3 wrestlers of the decade. In 3rd place, CM Punk. Maybe he should have been number 1. I know you're going to probably be yelling at me, but he's not been in... The only reason he's not number 1 is because he left 6 years ago. He hasn't wrestled for a very long time, and he's supposed to be wrestler of the entire decade, and he wasn't really around for the whole decade, which might contradict my number 1, but we'll get to that in a minute. But CM Punk, phenomenal, completely broke the glass ceiling. He made ROH wrestlers relevant. He made technical wrestling more important in WWE, and completely was outspoken, and personally one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. As I said, the only reason he's not number 1 is because he left, and he's only he's fighting for Wrestler of the Decade when he was only there for like 4 years of the decade. So I can't, in my right mind, give him Wrestler of the Decade, even though I would really like to. And then we have Becky Lynch as my number 2. Second place, Becky Lynch. The man, the woman. She, as I said previously when I was talking about her, she has pushed women's wrestling to the main event of WrestleMania. She's the first woman to win a main event of WrestleMania. Absolutely incredible superstar. I mean, there's not very much more I can say with it. He's only been in the company for 5 years again, so I'm kind of being a hypocritical when I was talking about CM Punk. But slightly longer than CM Punk, I suppose. But she's gone from being nothing to being the biggest star in the company. One of the biggest merch sellers. Tremendous superstar. Incredible. Becky Lynch is my number 2. And my wrestler of the decade is Daniel Bryan. The Yes Movement completely blew up. The CM Punk laid the path for Daniel Bryan as an indie star, and Daniel Bryan took it, and the fans pushed him. Daniel Bryan was a hard worker. He was always a defiant underdog, which was Vince McMahon must have liked Daniel Bryan because he always held titles, but he was never pushed to the main event until the fans got behind him. The fans saw that he's a genuinely nice guy, or comes across as a genuinely nice guy, and he works his butt off, always puts on tremendous matches, incredible matches, some of the best matches in WWE history, and they finally gave us, the fans, what we wanted, and they gave us his biggest win at WrestleMania 30. I still remember WrestleMania 30 like it was yesterday. It was one of my favourite pay-per-views of all time. When he overcame Triple H and then overcame Batista and Randy Orton in the same night. It was absolutely incredible. And then he retired. He was out with concussions for 2 years. And we thought it was done. We thought Daniel Bryan was gone. And I was genuinely depressed and really sad about it. And no one really felt that void for me, for Daniel Bryan. And then he came back. And it was the greatest comeback. I honestly think one of the greatest comebacks in professional wrestling history. Coming back from those concussions. Coming back from being off for 2 years. And coming back better than ever, honestly. He had tremendous matches with Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles. And then he turned heel, becoming an even bigger heel than he was a big baby face. He was a tremendous heel as vegan warrior Daniel Bryan with his wooden title belt. and he was the one who helped push Kofi Kingston into the main event scene at WrestleMania last year. And he helped, like, that's what I've heard rumor-wise is that Daniel Bryan pushed for that match to happen. So without Daniel Bryan, we might not have had the Kofi Kingston thing, which is incredible to think. So, I mean, incredible stuff. He's an incredible wrestler. Seems like an incredible human being. From what I can tell, I've never met the guy, but I have massive respect for him. And he is my wrestler of the decade. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. If you missed out on my match of the decade and my feud of the decade, go back and check them out. I hope you enjoy those. And thank you guys for watching. We got a whole another 10 years now. Who's going to be the top star in the next 10 years of WWE? Let me know in the comments below who your favourite wrestler of the decade is. And until next time, too sweet. Later, guys.
Join Potato Club today and too sweet that subscribe button.